No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, and none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shennies?
No. I don't even speak to it. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk.
You don't like it?
No.
Night Court with Joe Lanew, live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella.
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to
You
criminate.
got any business?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of intent to criminate.
You have any profession?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent
You
to
have any
criminate.
occupation?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent
Are
to
you a
criminate.
known racketeer?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made
Ron, you there?
I am. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the grand jury. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Looks like Joe's got us scheduled a lot of really good videos. So we'll be looking forward to that. We've got our normal crew. We've got retired officer Joe Lanew, followed up by our active officer Jason. Got John C. from up north, also retired officer. We have myself, retired military. We have our counsel in the house, Counselor Joe. We've got a couple of new people. We've got Curly and we've got Ski, so I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Curly, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself a little bit?
Sorry about that. I had to hit the button. I worked for the famous Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and I rose to the rank of sergeant before I retired. I worked auto theft, undercover, different things, patrol. I was a patrol sergeant right before I retired. And then I went to ADOT as a trucker cop, and we have other colorful names for trucker cops. I did that for 3 years and then finally pulled the plug after buying a fishing boat.
You know what that other name for trucker cop is?
Yeah.
Road roaches. We call you road roaches.
Oh, well, they had the chicken coop. They had all these other things when they go through the way station. But, and that's the other thing. I started my own video podcast, Real American Blue. And having my First Amendment right back is a beautiful thing because we talk about everything. So it is what it is.
You know, I was sitting here trying to figure out exactly what he was talking about being what his job was. So you were part of the fruit fly stations.
Yeah, whatever it was. But out here in Arizona, it was funny. The truckers really didn't like us too much. They kind of tolerated us. But the New Mexico trucker cops, man, those guys are hardcore. Just 100, 200 pounds overweight, they're getting a ticket. And trucker tickets aren't like you or me or anybody else. They're like really expensive. So they have attorneys on retainer to try to worm their way out of it. But it was kind of interesting. I had more fun, though, I think, at Sheriff Joe's place.
Well, it's good to have you with us tonight, Curly. And then we've got Ski 4100. Sorry, folks, had some technical issues. I couldn't get my mic back on quick enough to get the introductions going. But we've got Ski 4100, a Marine out of currently a Marine. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let him say the rest of it. Ski, you want to give yourself an introduction?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm an active duty Marine. I'm a corporal. and I've currently been in for over 3 years, and I am interested in going to law enforcement when I get out. So I hope I can get something out of this and maybe pick your guys' brains while I'm on this.
Well, you keep you a notepad, and when you go to the academy and get your badge, you take that page or pages and you tear them out and you forget them forever. That's the best advice I can give you, Ski. But growing up, Ski, where did you grow up? You grew up in what state?
I grew up in Minnesota. I love Minnesota, and
Yeah.
right now I'm currently in North Carolina, and I love it here, but the coast, it's pretty humid, and I hate humidity, and especially when you're PTing in the morning, it's
Yeah, that's
pretty
cute how
brutal.
you're trying to say how nice it is around Camp Lejeune. I've been there; it's not that
So,
nice. But
and
I want to ask you
uh,
this: when you were growing up in school, and did you have police officers come to your school?
yeah, well, growing up with actually my dad, Jason, I've been surrounded by law enforcement pretty much my whole life, and I've always gravitated towards that, and it's part of the reason why I enlisted, to have that sense of service and pride in myself. And I feel like now I want to continue that even after I get out. So yeah, to answer your question, I've been surrounded by it my whole life.
Well, my real question was, did McGruff ever come to your school and talk to you kids about taking a bite out of crime?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah,
I
just
didn't
never,
hear that.
never,
Did
never.
McGruff the crime dog ever come to your school and talk to you guys about taking a bite out of crime?
Uh, what are you gonna say?
He's
Whatever
gonna.
he says, he's going to sound like McGruff when he says it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been known to call your dad and say he should be the voice of the McGruff the crime dog, which was around when we were younger.
I'm saying he
Yeah.
is. I'm convinced he is the voice for McGruff the crime dog, and I'm convinced 100% he's worn the suit. There is a suit that runs around agencies, and there are officers that have worn them. They just never admit it. Jason, I'm convinced is one of those.
well, when I was working undercover narcotics, I actually wore the suit. It blended in great. Bought a lot of dope. Dressed as McGruff. No, shut up and go to the videos.
Well, with that voice, it would be convincing. I'd tell you dope. Oh, we got not a cultist with us tonight. He's one of our ex followers for our night court space shows. A good friend of the show. Oh, he's throwing up Real American Blue. He's throwing a shout out for Curly. Curly, is that your website for your podcast
Yep.
show?
Yeah, that's the website, realamericanblue.com. We're going to start doing a regular weekly show on Sundays. And it's like I was talking to you about it. We're going to nickname the show Choir Practice, but it's going to be Real American Blue, and it's going to be just stories of what you ran into as a cop, from funny stories to scary stories to all kinds of stuff. And we're trying to put the format together for it now, and we want to start doing it on Sundays as a regular thing, because except for the hardcore guys that work the weekend, most everybody now is off on the weekends and can chime in, get involved at the show, and do that.
Well, you and I had some off line discussions about that, and I've actually have some headway. I think we've got our group set together. We just need to decide on the name and the format. I don't know. We can try to do it live, but I don't know that we want to do this show live. But we'll talk about that.
Okay. And
I
then,
think I've got our lineup done, and one of them is going to be McGruff, the crime dog. So should be a hit.
I got a story about McGruff, and it involves a party and beer cans all over the yard, and McGruff standing out there, a little inebriated. So,
Yeah, I bet there's another guy in here who'd probably tell that story too.
yeah,
Just
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a rough guy.
One of the other things too, on Monday, we tried getting a hold of them guys in New York, and we did a show with them, but we had some audio difficulties because of one little switch caused a lot of feedback. So the two gentlemen, Eric and John, who you know, John, I think, and they're going to be coming on our show Monday. and that should be pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about Daniel Penny's case, and we're going to be talking about that crazy dude that shot the CEO. We're going to be talking about that, and then the differences between New York stuff and Arizona stuff on self-defense and things of that nature.
No, you're right. He's talking about John Macari and Eric, the most complained cop in New York City.
Yeah.
John actually retired from New York PD when he was forced to take a vaccination. He's got some subsequent lawsuits, but they're big around the Eastern Seaboard and anything to do with NYPD. Eric and John are definitely in it, but I've also got them committed to this Cop Talk show we're talking about. But guys, let's get on to this. I want to make a comment to a three-tier. I invited you on this, and you sent back in no uncertain terms. I will not be on this show. But if you'd like to be on here, I can get you in here next week. Let's go to our first video. This is going to be Volusia, Florida, in honor of Big Ron. Not a lot of background to this school resource officer doing what school resource officers do when they have children that are involved in assaults or fights. Let's take a look.
So I understand the frustration of the whole situation.
No idea. I'm sorry. No, you have no idea. Okay, well, let's continue. Let's forget about the I'm sorry here, I'm sorry there. Let's go and take care of what we have to take care of.
What you can do is, like I was just explaining, when this process goes through court, you can explain your side of the story to the judge. It's ultimately going to be up to the judge what is going to happen from here on out. What I made a determination on is probable cause alone, which just means that he was the primary aggressor.
No,
being
she
that
was the primary
this
aggressor
isn't an
because she
argument.
was yelling at him.
Okay,
And that's aggression.
I'm gonna finish this
Okay,
conversation.
so you just
if
messed
guys
up.
keep
You
interrupting
failed
me.
a kid. Okay, that's okay. You are failing kids right here. We're not talking about us because believe me, if it were about the adults, we can solve this at all different levels.
So
we are talking about a kid that I'm
if you wanna
fooling.
speak
Now
with
I'm
my
telling you,
supervisor,
I'm
you're not
talking
gonna raise
to
your
you.
voice at me.
Okay,
You're not
yes,
gonna
I
raise
am going to do. Guess
Okay.
what? Because I
You
pay
guys
your
are going to
salary.
leave.
Okay, what
You guys
happened
can
to
leave.
you?
You can leave.
Okay, why are you
We
so
can't have-
worthless? Do you
we can't have a
feel
conversation,
do
so
you
you need
feel
to leave.
proud that you are this worthless lady?
Okay,
I'm
Do
gonna
you
tell
feel this proud that
I'm
you
going
are
to
this
tell you one more
worthless?
time
Shut
before
the
this
fuck
gets
up
to
because
that.
I
You
paid your
need to
salary,
leave.
you dumb
If you
bitch.
put your hand in my
Okay?
face, this is gonna
That's what
escalate.
happened. Look, what is gonna happen?
honey,
What is gonna happen?
You need to leave.
You are a worthless piece of shit. Yeah, call back up. No wonder
You need to
no
leave.
one,
You
no
need
wonder
to
you're
leave.
fucking dying.
You need to leave.
There's nothing that we can do, okay? But don't worry, we're gonna keep this high.
You need to leave.
You are
You put your hand in my
right
face
here.
one more time. I have a fucking issue. Don't do that.
Who the fuck are you? You see?
Put it down right fucking now. Put it down right now. Put your hands behind your fucking back. Put your hands behind your fucking back now. Put your hands behind your fucking back now.
Yeah, please, thank you. Dad.
Central Kilo 47. XR 21 set the cardiac over.
Well, there it is, folks. That's short and sweet. We don't have much more on it. That gentleman did go to jail and was charged with assault on a police officer. Let's go for you new guys. We do this kind of like a grand jury. There wasn't a whole lot of use of force there, although I think the officer did clear leather. And I guess it was some force used, but this is not going to be a real whether you would indict or not. But I'll take comments, and we'll start with Fidgy. What do you think about that, Fidgy?
Did they say what the kid was in there for?
A fight.
Oh, and the resource officer was, I take it that's a resource officer, was like explaining probable cause to him? To the dad?
I believe she was referring the child to some criminal offense for assault. And she was explaining to the parents that was what's going to happen.
I don't know what to think about that one, Joe. Honestly.
Okay, let's go to
yeah, maybe a no bill. How about that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a bill or no bill situation. This is when I say that this is not something that if there was a complaint against this officer, and unless it was a criminal complaint, it highly unlikely this incident would actually make it to a grand jury. So, do you think the officer's actions were appropriate? The force she used was appropriate?
Yeah, I think she should have stood back and gotten her ass kicked, quite frankly. Yeah, I think I guess they were appropriate.
So
She
you think the
pulled a
officer?
taser on him, right? Did he grab the taser and tase her?
No, he backed away with the taser. So I guess that's okay, right?
Oh, okay.
Let's go back to that spot. Let's look where we got into this physical altercation.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that got
so
a little
this
confusing.
guy's coming at her. His arms going around. He's making more contact. The taser's out. You saw the light on the ground. She has the taser. He pulls it from her, and then backs off.
As soon as he got that taser in his hands, all bets were off.
I think she clears leather about right
Yeah.
here. So do you think that this father is justified in his actions?
I think that father's lucky to not be having holes in him.
Well, hang on. I'm talking to Fidgy.
No, I don't think he was just. Well, I mean, like we didn't hear the beginning of that conversation, so I don't think so. What I find kind of funny though is she was the one who was just used force.
Let's
It was
listen.
all the other.
We did it. Let's listen again.
So I understand the frustration of the whole situation.
No idea. I'm sorry. You have no idea. Okay, well let's continue. Let's forget about the I'm sorry here, I'm sorry there. Let's go and take care of what we have to take care of.
What you can do is, like I was just explaining, when this process goes through court, you can explain your side of the story.
Okay, so she's explaining that she's going to do a referral for their son for this fight. I think she also goes into, I don't know who started it. It's going to be up to the judge to decide, but let's listen to her say that.
To the judge, it's ultimately going to be up to the judge what is going to happen from here on out. What I made a determination on is probable cause alone, which just means that he was the primary aggressor.
No,
being
she
that
was the primary
this
aggressor
isn't an
because she was
argument.
yelling at him.
Okay,
And that's aggression.
I'm gonna.
So her son was not the primary aggressor because the evidently female that he was in the altercation with was yelling at him. Does that help any, Fidgy?
Finish this conversation.
Yeah, I think the father kind of he may have overreacted. I don't know. Dealing with the schools anymore, they've gotten so ridiculous. So I can kind of see where he's probably pretty angry if he's had this situation kind of come up before, which it sort of seems like, I mean, the fact that he's calling her worthless and stuff, but he's coming at her. He took the taser, so I guess she's not at fault. It seems though that these parents have kind of had it with the school system. This does not seem like a first time.
Okay, let's go to Bruce Wayne. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I have no problem with it. Although it's shocking that the son got into a fight with such a calm and mature role model as his father.
Yeah, it's weird he's having trouble fighting. He's fighting women too.
Yeah, but no, I have no problem with the officer's actions. Glad she had those people step in and help her.
All right. Well, let's put the new guy on the hot seat. Ski, what do you think about this?
I think the father was completely out of line there. I get the frustration behind it, but you should never, as a man, you should never lay your hands on a woman to begin with, especially a cop. If I was the cop right there, I would probably have the same reaction as her. So I think she's completely justified in how she handled that.
Okay. Big Ron.
Evening, everybody. Yeah, definitely is going to be a no bill for me. And like I said earlier, Fiji, I didn't mean to step on you there. As soon as he grabbed that police, pushed her down and took her taser, um, she had every right for more escalated force and didn't take it. Everybody getting in the way there. I thought that was an issue with the administrators trying to get in between the police officer and the father. And like Ski was saying, you've got a young kid here that's getting into a fight in school, from a father that's obviously extremely calm all the time and weighs the situation out before he opens his mouth. I can only imagine what this young man's family life is like, or what his mother has to go through. And as we've talked before with my significant other being a teacher, she will tell you that it's learned behaviors. The way that a child acts at school is normally a learned behavior from the way the household operates. So this is definitely a no bill.
Oh my goodness! Somebody's played with my banners. I'll fix that. Sorry, apologize for that obscene banner you folks just called there. That's wrong. So you think the officer was well within her authority as a police officer to use the force that she used?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And as soon as the father swung at her, like we just saw in the video here about 15 seconds ago, that all bets were off. If he would have just walked out, it would have been fine. The fact that he's getting this angry and swinging at a female police officer, or swinging at a police officer in general, but he is straight up trying to beat her into the ground. That is unacceptable. And like I said, the warrant of using more force above the taser was warranted at that point. At least in my mind, I could be dead wrong, but I believe it was.
Okay, I'll take that assessment. Let's go to Lawyer Joe. Lawyer Joe, what do you think about this?
I actually was going to say what Bruce said is I can't imagine where the kid learned that behavior. Yeah, my kid learned my behavior. I'm not going to lie. So he got in trouble in high school for beating up a bully who started it with some anyway. But I mean, that would be a totally different situation. But I don't know. I keep looking at it like if I would have behaved that way and my grandparents would have come to the school, they certainly wouldn't have been crossed with the resource officer. My grandma would have been looking at me like, "Oh, child, you better hope we stay here because I'm about to whoop your butt the second we leave here." Like I'm just used to parents having that. Oh no, and this is just—it's ridiculous. And I almost feel bad for the officer there because she's just a resource officer. Your kid got in a fight. She's referring it to a judge. She's doing everything legally she should do, and he's like, that dude's just—I don't know. He's a horrible example for his kid, and you could tell his wife's done this before. So I think the cop
Joe,
was
what if
fine.
this wasn't the first time? I mean, what if there's bullying incidents with this kid and he's defending himself, and the parents have had it with the schools not doing anything to protect their child or something, and now they get called in, being asked, oh, well, your kid's going to court.
Well, let me ask
What
you
if
this,
it was
Fiji.
completely like justified for what the kid did?
Okay, let's see.
And that sounds
I think she's
harsher than I mean it. I don't mean that. I'm just thinking it through.
Okay, well let me ask you this. Then, at what level of abuse, by air quotes, that could have happened prior to us seeing this? What abuse would be okay for this father to put his hands on this officer, where this officer would have to submit to that?
When it comes to your kids, you're a
It
little
may be
heightened
kids
anyway,
involved, but
right?
we're talking about the law. When does this officer when she puts her badge and her gun and her Sam Brown on and goes to work every day, and she gets in a situation, it's like, oh, this is a situation that I must submit. Just take an ass beating. What level is that?
Well, I don't want to see anyone taking ass beating, but I don't like this. Seems like a very short a short clip. I'd like to know more about this whole situation.
Do you see that? Right there?
You know, and quite frankly, like let me also say, if this was like my parents or myself and we were dealing with something like this, then I think I would be more, you know, my family was more the type, go hire a damn lawyer or pull the kid from the school and go into private because you have a lot more say over that. But I don't know. I don't know. I would like to know what got that father so angry because I don't think that this was a one-time thing.
As the grand jury, you don't get that. You get this with the state's presenting you, and it's just like the Jordan Neely. You know, the jury there didn't hear about all of his arrests and that he was out on bond for aggravated assault, punching a 65-year-old woman in the face. The jury didn't get to hear all that because you're supposed to make a judgment on the offense that's accused by the state. In this case, it's going to be most likely aggravated assault on a police officer by knocking her down and taking her taser. I guess that's my question is at what point do we say, oh, well, it was just okay, Mr. or Mrs. Police Officer, go ahead and take your ass whipping.
Hey, Joe, since you asked me, can I answer her now?
Well, can you quit talking over her, Joe, and I'll come to you, I promise. Let Pidgey finish.
I just wanted to answer Pidgey's question.
I don't think he should raise his hand to anyone. I mean, I think people should keep their hands to themselves, but I don't know, with the schools and all that, it just kind of makes me a little uneasy. And go ahead, Joe, sorry.
No, I just wanted to answer what you asked first before other Joe answered about, like, I have a kid in school now. I mean, he goes to a special needs school, and I have an older kid who went to like a regular school. And situations like you're talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like this kid might be getting bullied and he's finally fighting back. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, when I got called to school for my oldest son beating up on bullies, like the principal expected me to be all upset and all, and you know, I tried not to laugh at him, but I was just like, okay. And he's like, well, he's gonna get suspended, and I'm like, okay, cool. But and I'm like, you know, if I have a problem with this, you'll hear from my attorney. And we left. So, but this like going after, she can't do anything right now. And this is a school, and they're disrupting the school. So I just kind of have a problem with that. There's no, because it's a school, it kind of bothers me because there's other kids there. There's, you know, just be like, all right, fine, you'll hear from our attorney. And that's it. But that showing that kind of disrespect and that kind in the school in front of the kid, you're showing him how bullies get away with bullying rather than being like, look.
Let me ask you, you guys have jumped to bullying. What evidence do you have, or where's the indicator that this sweet darling of these two people in this room was bullied?
I don't. Fidji said, what if he was? And that's the situation they were replying. Like,
yeah, what if they're dealing with a school that isn't taking care of a problem and they've gone to the school and tried to get the problem taken care of, and then they get called up there over this? You know, I mean, I was just making a scenario there, but that I think there had to be more behind this thing, this conversation on this from this officer. I think she's in a tough spot. I don't think he should have raised his hands to her. Definitely not to an officer. Like, that's just stupid. But I don't know. I get the feeling like he's been through some of these before, and he's had it. You know, this is not a first time for whatever the situation is.
I want you to listen to this part again. Listen to what the mother says.
This process goes through court. You can explain your side of the story to the judge. It's ultimately going to be up to the judge what is going to happen from here on out. What I made a determination on is probable cause alone, which just means that he was the primary aggressor.
No,
being that
was the primary aggressor.
This isn't an argument.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong little button here. Let me get back to that.
Yeah.
Back to the primary aggressor. Did you hear what the mother said?
She said because this girl was yelling at him.
Right.
So you're saying that, oh, you know, it's really kind of a carbon copy of the same situation, isn't it? A girl was yelling at him. A female is telling his dad that his son's going to go to court. It's kind of the same situation. Dad overreacts. Maybe the kid
Explaining.
overreacted.
Yeah, I don't know what happened prior to this. I'm looking at the actions of the three people that we're watching on the screen now, and making some sort of determination. But kind of getting hung up on this. Let's
Yeah,
let's
we
table
don't
it.
need to.
Let's go to it. Laurie or Joe, do you have any more to say about this?
No, I just thought the kid's probably an asshole who got in trouble a lot, but I was like trying to answer Fidji's thing. Either way, nothing that happened was the father wasn't justified in that behavior for any reason.
Okay. Cultus says, why are the courts getting involved in the school fight anyway? I just don't think that. I kind of agree with you. Back when I was in school, you could have fights and you wouldn't have a justice system involved. You might get suspended. Parents may get called in, but it didn't go this route. But that's where we're at now. I would say that is not this school resource officer's problem. Her job is her job to develop probable cause, make lawful referrals in this case. Okay, let's go to Curly. This is where the law enforcement jumps in. So what do you think about it, Curly? Curly may be having some mic problems. John Cox, North Carolina. What do you think about this?
So I was kind of like Fiji. There was more to this story, so I actually done some digging on it. So Dad there, he had outstanding warrants for theft, assault on a law enforcement officer, and clearly the deputy did not know that. So he was already agitated or on edge, and with I can only assume with him hearing that they're going to have to go to court, he knew his gig was up. Mom is a school teacher at another school. So Dad's behavior prior to this has been just this. Again, assault on a
So
law enforcement officer.
what bearing does that have on this incident? And I'm going to have you.
It has nothing to do, but
your own research.
that's why I'm
Well,
saying
he gave the background. Thank you, John.
Yeah, that's what caused this.
Look, folks, you don't get background. You don't get to come in on a situation as a jury and find out all the things somebody's been accused of or even convicted of prior to make a decision on whether they're guilty or not guilty or should be indicted or not indicted on the cause that you're there for. It's very particular parameters. That's why I do it this way. But okay.
As that, no, yeah, I mean, she's justified.
I did not expect that video to be so controversial.
I did not either. It threw me for a loop. Curly, you got your mic back yet? You with us?
Yep. I got to keep remembering to push the button. Yeah, I did.
Yes, sir. You got to unmute it. What do you think about this one?
Well, Dad was in the wrong. And I know things get a little heated sometimes at school. I had a few calls to assist resource officers, both in Queen Creek and in Chandler. And yeah, I mean, that's not a place. And here in Arizona, when they start doing that, we have another little statute that talks about interfering with an educational facility. And I don't remember exactly if it's a misdemeanor or like a class 6 felony, but you just can't do that kind of behavior in there. And you know, it was a female cop, which Dad kind of just figured he could walk all over. And nope, sorry, you can't do that stuff. You're going to go to jail. If you don't calm down, you're going to go to jail. And then, hence the thing.
Let me ask you this, Curly. Do you think that this guy got more leadway because he was inside of a school? What if this was a traffic stop? How much of his behavior would have been acceptable on a traffic stop?
Well, it depends. Once we got the monitors, life was different at the sheriff's office. But, somebody behaves like that, they have every right in the world to voice their opinion. And what I would do is I would remind them that this isn't a place to argue about it. That's what the courts are for. And I kind of gathered that's what the officer was trying to explain to him. His behavior, though, and I could see right away, Mom getting involved, son got involved a little bit, and then the staff. And no, It was uncalled for. He needed to go to jail. And the ag assault on a police officer, absolutely grabbing the gun, or excuse me, the taser. And because he knew what was coming next, he was probably going to get tased. So that, the officer in this case was completely justified, based on, I'm assuming, a woman smaller statute than this guy. So of course, she was justified 100%. And she tried defusing it, tried everything on it, and the guy wouldn't stop. So yeah,
Do you think
justified.
stature comes into play on this one?
What's that?
What if the officer was 6'5"? Would it
I
be different?
don't think it would have elevated to that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we've had instances where we've had smaller female officers out, and we've had stuff where people think they can walk on them just based on their size, any prior contacts they had with female officers, things like that. But in this case here, she would have been justified to tase him. He took the taser, knocked her down, and I think it's justified. If they file a complaint and I was the supervisor over it, I'd write it up, unsubstantiated or unfounded, done, and let the court roll with it on his charges.
Okay. Thank you. Jason, got an opinion on this one?
Yeah, I'm shocked this conversation has gone this long. I'm going to give the trophy for most enabling parents I've ever seen in my life for their kids' behavior on this one. And that officer, I think, would have been justified way before I would have got hands on a lot. Yeah, you don't walk into a school and show your kid this is how you handle stuff. You walk into a school and your kid's in trouble. You look at your kid and you go, what the hell did you do? And I've been in this situation before as a school cop. I've had parents walk in. You got to call them out and be an example for your kid right now. This whole thing, I was watching it. Horrible parenting. They need to go to some parenting classes and realize that if this child did something and a neutral party thought he was the aggressor, stop taking your kid's side and look at your kid and say, we're going to deal with this at home. Officer, I would have gotten hands-on with these guys way earlier than she was being more than nice. This guy, in my opinion, his dad needs some anger management. And anyway, I'll leave it there. Be a parent is all I'm saying. Not an enabler.
I 100% agree. And if it's going to go to court, then as a parent, then if I've got an argument for my child, that's where it's going to be. It's not going to be at that location. But I look at, and I'm super surprised we had this much debate over this clip. Take it out of a school setting, take the child out of it. This is just another contact by law enforcement with civilians or citizen. And take that out of the school environment, put that on the side of the road that when he gets out of the chair, he comes out of his car and he's pointing at the officer, he's poking at the officer, and wife's trying to pull him back. He goes around the officer, the wife to come back at the officer again. I think the conversation would have been different. But I think in the context, it doesn't matter if it's in a school. The offense occurred when he poked at the officer and then came around and took the taser out of it, knocked her down, takes the taser from her hand. That's the offense. There was no offense prior to that.
There was a question in the room is like, why are the courts involved anyway? Because parents have lost parenting skills. That's why. When you work as a school resource officer and you have parents that aren't being parents, it's almost like, and quite frankly, when kids go to court, they're not going to prison. It's diversion. It's classes. It's parent classes. It's not locking your kid up forever because the parents aren't being parents. And this video was a direct example of what many school resource officers see when a parent comes into a building and they're blaming the cop and not looking at the child and saying, what did you do? That's why courts are involved now. It's evolved to that.
So you're saying the courts have had to get involved because parents have been disengaged in the discipline of their children?
Yep, 100%.
Well, that's a news shocker. We didn't see that one coming either. But let's go to Reno, Nevada. See how they handle manhunts there.
Stop! Hey, I just stiffened up because I'm nervous.
Stop!
Okay? I didn't
Stop! Put your hands behind your back.
I'm not trying to resist. Hey!
Put your hands behind your back. You're gonna get hurt.
Hey! Hey! Stop it! Please! Stop! Hey!
Stop! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
God damn it!
Get on the ground! 122 expedite cover.
Hi, my name's and I live at Twin Lakes Drive near 4th and McCarran. It's kind of rural out here. There's a green belt behind us, and there's a parking lot, a dirt parking lot behind us. And this morning when we woke up, there's a black SUV, a big car. I can't tell what kind it is. I haven't walked up to it. It doesn't have a license plate on the back. And it's parked in it's probably 30 feet away from our house up this little hill. And it wasn't there last night. And they backed in. They would have had to go in between a couple of trees and branches, small tree branches. So it's just a very suspicious looking car and close to our house.
Should we stay out of his way? If he tries to run, let him run. Hey, got the shit. Come on.
Okay, does everybody get the back story on this so far?
Can you go back to the?
You want me
I
to go
read
back
fast,
there?
but not that fast.
Okay, just tell me where you need to go. That's what I need to know.
Right there. Yeah,
Right
the
there.
second page. Oh.
So he was driving a revoked driver's license, had a warrant for his arrest in the first stop, the first beginning of the video. He's on the ground trying to get him into custody. He escapes. And then a day later, I believe, he's encountered again, and that's the outcome of the encounter that we saw. And we know he died. the suspect was killed in this altercation. Yeah. So let's go to Big Ron. I want your opinion on this first.
I'm gonna go with no bill. As soon as he grabbed onto the officer's gun, it kind of was the end of the decisions there.
Okay, short and sweet. I like that. Bruce Wayne, what do you think about this?
Yeah, like Ron said, no bill. He was resisting arrest. They had every right to use as much force as was needed to get him to comply. And then, like Ron said, once he grabbed that firearm, he kind of forfeited all sympathy for me. So no bill.
Okay. Yeah, you guys don't want to know if he was bullied or anything else about his life? To give him a good reason to act this way? Oh, I'm sorry, I
Maybe he
hadn't got
was
to Fidgy yet.
bullied.
Let's
We
go to
didn't see
Fidgy.
what happened beforehand.
Go ahead, Fidgy. Give us your assessment on this.
I'm going to say a no bill, but we still don't know what happened beforehand. And I really think if someone had called a social worker out there, that would solve that problem.
He just needed some kind words.
Mm-hmm. Some loving attention.
Yeah, that's effective law enforcement. Ski, what's a Marine's take on this? I mean, this is a regular Friday night for you guys, right?
Yeah, usually kind of depends on the night and what's going on, but I think this shows why law enforcement needs to learn a little bit of ground fighting, because all this fleeing stuff wouldn't happen if they knew how to properly add proper resistance, like non-compliance, maybe a pressure point here or there, even an arm bar. Like I fought guys way bigger than me during like our martial arts training, and an armbar can stop anybody, and if it needs to escalate, you can obviously escalate it to further use of force if you need to. But I think when he was running while the officer was in the vehicle and the suspect grabbed his weapon, I think the officer was justified. I would say no bill on that.
Okay, I'll take that assessment as well. I believe we are to Lawyer Joe. What's your opinion of this?
Okay, first, there's a smart Marine. I'm still getting over that. I actually agree. That's a great take. If they had some better ground fighting skills, might not end up in situations like this. But the guy was fully detained at the point when they had him on the ground, and he had an arrest warrant, so they were within their rights to have him there. And it didn't even look like they were being like that rough in the beginning, just trying to get cuffs on him. And then he's fighting, and then he escapes, and yeah, we saw what happened from there. I'd say no bill on either one of them. I don't know about that cop jumping in the car after him though. I don't know if it was brave or stupid. I mean, he could have got himself seriously hurt, but he didn't. But they didn't do anything wrong. No bill.
Okay. So both you and the Marine think that if the officers had more ground fighting skills, they could predict this person from his own decisions?
No, I just think that if they're on the ground like that, they're like that. Jason's smart son said, he if they were on the ground like that and they had maybe taken, I don't know, jujitsu or something like that, you have better spatial awareness of the ground. You have better understanding of when things move, how they move, where they move, and better ways to control them. And I just think it might be beneficial. Is it necessary? No, but would it save the cops some time and energy and getting beat on the ground? Yeah.
Okay. Curly, what do you think about this engagement? By the way, I froze it. This is my favorite part of the video, is when he looks like he's going to take a crap while he's sitting behind the wheel. Is that taser, or he's getting some voltage run through his body right there. Just
Well, at the one point right before the shooting, it sounded like the vehicle he was driving away or trying to drive away with the cop hanging out of it. I don't know if that's the case because it was hard to see. But yeah, it's no bill. The cops are justified, and these guys with misdemeanor warrants and revoked licenses, they're the ones that seem to elevate the situation. And yeah, no bill. Cop was justified.
Very well. John Cox, North Carolina. How do y'all handle it there? And then back to Curly's point is that that vehicle was in motion when he shot. The officers actually looks like mostly in the back seat.
Well, we learned jujitsu during BLET anyway. So, but
John, don't bring in misnomers like that. You've already heard what the attorney and the Marine have said that they
I'm
don't have
sorry.
the training. That's
I'm
not, that's
sorry.
not officers aren't trained in combat sports.
I apologize.
Wait, hold on a second. I never said that, and neither did he. We said they couldn't. You don't know if these guys had that training. I think it should be fairly standard, and it might be easier on the cops. That's what. I didn't say that. Don't say I said shit I didn't say.
If I may add, also, even though you are trained, let's just say the academy, and you do it like once a month or something, that is not enough. You need to be doing that stuff at least, consistently. It's just like going to the gym. You're not going to see results or get any better if you're not doing that stuff consistently. And I've learned that personally when I've grappled, and I just go right into it after not doing it for a couple months. You're not good. Like it's like the rust is coming off you. So I understand that officers are trained in jujitsu in some departments, but they need to like actually put in the effort and make that like a mastery of their skill. Like, like if you're gonna be full gun, like what you gonna call it, like a Marine, for example, like we shoot every year. That's so we're proficient in it and we know how the system works, the weapon system works, and our skills are fine tuned for that. It's the same thing for grappling. You need to have your tunes like ready to go. You know how to fucking sorry, don't mean to swear, but how do your
Sweetie, there are a lot of us who are veterans and law enforcement. We've heard it all. It's
yeah.
okay. I like this kid. He's smart. Let's go.
Well, we
Anyway,
were trying to let
so
him go, but you cutting him off. Go ahead, Marine.
no, she's good. She's all good. But yeah, it needs to be something you practice daily, or not daily, but consistently. And
So it's a perishable skill, and you need to maintain that. Is what you're saying,
of
right?
course, 100%. And I think that. And
Can I chime in a little bit? This is Curly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I personally took Aikido for these kinds of things. I knew guys, other deputies that took uh, uh, judo, different things. One guy's an MMA fighter. That was a deputy. And it isn't so much that because you can be trained in that type of a profession, or be it boxing, whatever it is. We do defensive tactics all the time. Side handle baton, strikes, different things. Then you augment it with the other tools, taser, different things. And sometimes the best trained guys have a hard time with somebody that's hopped up on something, and it just escalates because sometimes when you get involved and you put hands on and you start doing that, you got a guy in the ground trying to get him into compliance. It's a lot. And when, there's been instances where cops have been.
Well, hang on, Curly. I mean, you're just talking about putting his arms behind his back and putting handcuffs on him. I mean, you just grab his arm and do it, right?
Yeah, it ain't that easy,
Come
especially with
on.
it.
You're a police officer. You've got all them tools on your belt, and usually there's a couple of officers there. It's not hard to put somebody in handcuffs.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, then you throw in policy, then the new stuff where they're worried about complaints for excessive force, so there's a lot of stuff rolling through a cop's mind. And in situations like that, they do escalate, and it's a cop's job to try to cut that off, end it quick. And, there's no bill, obviously, on this because the cops didn't do anything wrong. They did what they could. And, it's kind of hard to judge some of this stuff on what was happening because you just got one camera angle or whatever. But like right here that you're showing it, that cop's drawn out, but he didn't fire. He didn't have a reason to. He just had to move out of the way. That was basically it. But when they found him later, climbed in the car with him, trying to effect the arrest, the fight's on, and you got to do everything you can to win, because this guy's not going to give up. And unfortunately, it ended this way with lethal force, and the cop was justified, plain and simple. But had they had thumped on the guy a little harder when he was on the ground, maybe they would have been avoiding all this stuff. But
Yeah,
who knows?
that's a discussion we've had many times here. Is that some of these cases, my personal opinion is that maybe some more force and more aggression in the very beginning would have prevented an escalation of violence. But let me get to Jason, because we still have some videos to get to. Jason, what do you think about this one?
I'll make it short. No, Bill. And Joe, I have another son, and you called this one the smart one, which is kind of rude.
I meant smart compared to you, though. Sorry, kiddo.
Oh, and
Yeah.
and Ski, when you get home, if you want to grapple, I'll go with you.
Oh yeah, I already know.
We'll need some video of that. Just saying. I'm a no bill on this. I think it's pretty clear. I think the officer showed restraint. Curly pointed out something that I was going to point out when the guy was fleeing on a vehicle going around the officer's car. If that officer had shot, I wouldn't have been okay with that. That officer, if he'd let rounds fly, he was letting rounds fly to prevent an escape or evading, and that's not lawful. That the guy leaving wasn't aiming the car. I mean, wasn't using the car as a weapon. You can engage someone in a vehicle if they're using a vehicle as a weapon, aiming it at you. He was aiming for an open door to get out. So I think the officer did a fine job there, and no bill on that. Let's go to 1,000. I tell you what. Let's go to Ohio. Let's go to Shelby, Ohio, and talk about some Arby's tangy barbecue sauce.
Love me some Arby's.
Shelby is the Boondocks. Just warning you guys.
He's in Ohio.
I'd go for a beef and cheddar right now.
So
Hey, Tyler?
Tyler, he wants beef and cheddar.
Is Tyler back there?
Better be making
Can
me
you
a
grab
beef
him
and
for
cheddar.
me real quick? Can you just grab him for me real quick, man? Go run back. Go run back. I got him.
Yeah, Charlie, that tangy
How's it going,
barbecue
man?
sauce will get you.
Pretty good.
You know I'm here.
Nah.
You know you got a warrant for your arrest, Tyler.
For what?
For failure to appear to court.
Fuck!
500 shots fired! Shots fired! Sorry, I'm bleeding! Fuck! He got me in the neck.
500.
Okay, so they go to Arby's to execute a warrant, an arrest warrant on Shelby, or I forget the gentleman's name now. Shelby, no, that's Shelby Police Department. Tyler, sorry, excuse me. So they go to effecting a warrant on him there, and he comes out swinging with a knife and stabs the officer in the neck. So let's go to Bruce Wayne.
Easy no bill for me. I hope the officer was all right.
Okay, I'll take that. Fidgy.
Yeah, that's a no bill for me. And same. I hope the officer's all right. Glad the scumbag's dead.
He survived his wounds. The officer.
Well, that's a shame. That's a damn shame.
No, the officer survived his wounds. Well, maybe you didn't.
Oh, the officer did?
The officer survived,
Okay.
Survived his wounds. Tyler is 1042 forever.
Okay. That seemed to be a workable situation. I'm glad the officer was okay. Still glad the scumbag is dead.
That happened. Let's go to Big Ron.
Well, normally this would be the part of the show where I come out and talk about the 21-foot rule like we all do, but as we can see in the video, there was really kind of no indication that he had a knife in his hand. But I think that rolls back to the, officers always asking, "Let me see your hands," and making sure they're walking out with open palms to prove that there's nothing in their hands. But with that critique being done, that's definitely going to be a no bill. That was a justified shooting. He was DRT. I'm okay with that.
Very good. Let's go to Camp Lejeune. Ski.
I agree with Big Ron. I didn't really like the fact that how close he got to the officer there, but once you do that kind of stuff to an officer, you kind of get what you get. As we say, fuck around and find out. So I'm going to say no bill.
Very good. Lawyer Joe, this is your time to shine.
I grew up in that area, not too far from there.
Have you eaten at that Arby's? Tell us.
No, that Arby's is pretty new. Well, at least within the past 10, 15 years. But anyway, I actually have a friend who's a deputy in that county. I could find out if the cop, see if the cop's okay, if anybody cares. But yeah, there's no problem at all. He went to arrest the dude at Arby's for failure to appear. That's like a misdemeanor, low degree felony. And he decided to try to kill the cop and die over it. That was just dumb. The cop was fine. He was just going to arrest him and take him in, and the kid comes out with a knife. He definitely fucked around. He definitely found out. No bill on
So
the
if you're
cop.
sitting in the grand jury, this is a no bill officer.
Oh.
Work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. John Cox, what do you think?
Yeah, clearly a no bill.
Curly.
No bill. Yeah.
Jason.
No bill.
I agree, no bill. It could be another situation, and quite frankly, I think if I was the officer, I may have handled it the same way. Some guy works at Arby's that I know by name. Hey, man, come on out. Yeah, you got a warrant. I got to take you down. I may have handled it the same way, but the officer definitely put himself in a position. If this guy meant nefarious deeds towards him, he was in a position to get cut. But no bill for me. I think the officers did what the officers had to do on that. Let's go to Shoreline, Washington.
What's happening?
You disturbing over there?
Yes, Shoreline Police.
Okay.
What's happening?
He's disturbing over there. What's your name and badge number?
Hey, you guys, come out. Come out. Hey, dude, stay. Keep your fucking hands up.
Yes, sir.
Come out. Come out. Don't you fucking move. Keep your hands up. Come out. Is there anyone else in there?
You're not the sheriff, are you?
Dude.
I'm not coming out.
Hey, back up behind the cars.
Name and badge number.
Dude, stop. Stop. Back up, back up, back up. Back up, back up. Get out here. Go. Go. Item 6, I've got the employees out. There's one guy behind the counter screaming, "Don't kill me." I don't see weapons.
Charlie, you still have a line inside. He is yelling at them that he wants an ambulance.
Copy. 411, if you have him on the line, can you see if he'll come out and talk to us?
This is the Shoreline Police! Sir, come outside with your hands up! Sir, come outside with your hands up! Alright, go back down.
Stand up with your hands in the air and walk out to us.
This is the King County Sheriff's Office. We're not leaving. We need to help you. Please come out with your hands up so that we can help you, okay? We're not going to leave. We want to help you. We know that you're behind the counter, okay? But we want to help you, okay? So you need to come out with your hands up so that we can do that. We have officers here that are going to help you. We're not going to hurt you. If you can come out with your hands up, we're not going to mess with you. Just come on out so that we can help you.
I think they want to help him.
At the very least, come to that door so that we can see you're okay with both your hands up.
So the clerk said that this guy came in and he was just standing in the store for about 30-ish minutes.
Guys, there's going to be somebody coming out the front, possibly an RP. Just watch for that.
Oh, there is someone else.
That's what she said, according to 911.
What's an
just now.
RP?
That looks like a way.
Reporting person.
He's coming out.
Okay, thank you.
All right, for Sam, we have one coming out. Come on out the front door with your hands up. We're all here to help
you. Is this in New Jersey?
I was wondering the same thing.
Storyline. Is this a drone?
Yes.
Nice.
No, Bruce, the cop can fly.
I didn't know if he was crouching. And... No.
He's Peter Pan.
Interesting that they're using it inside. That's pretty good pilot, actually.
The fact that the police departments are being able to use this kind of technology now, it definitely enhances officer safety. It's really great to see it.
Man, if that was that dude, I'd have a broom. I'd knock that damn thing down.
I'd see what kind of like.
Looks like he smeared the
slushies
window.
they had.
They turned them lights off. They got shining in. They might be able to see through that window.
Yeah, it looks like it's got something blue on it, Joe.
Ron, it's a police drone that has blue lights.
Oh, you're killing me.
It's a fast little bugger, too.
It didn't look like it was that fat or that big.
Oh my God!
Keep an eye there.
Thank God he couldn't make it.
Please, what is that? Yes, sir. Oh,
It's the aliens!
Oh my God. I love it.
It's the aliens!
Oh
Al
my
Qaeda's
God!
coming in there to bomb him.
He's not afraid of all the cops with weapons pointed at him. But that
What
little
is
drone,
that?
too much.
Yes, sir.
Joe, that needs to be part of your intro. Oh my God, what is that?
I'm going to go to that.
Please be with me, Jehovah.
Our good friend Charlie, not a cultist, said he's been to that 7-Eleven. You know that guy, Charlie? So the call was a disturbance at the
Startled
store,
by the drone.
and the person barricaded themselves inside the 7-Eleven, resulting in what we saw. Mainly that one was in here because of in honor of all the drone sightings. There's one in Shoreline, Washington that we can say with some certainty as to what it was. But
We have officers here.
what do you think about this one? Fidgy, I'm coming to you first.
You know, we saw 2 of them tonight. Drones. Yeah, there's really not much to comment. Good they got them, but that really does need to be part of your intro, Joe. Oh my God, what is that?
I'm working on isolating voices. I think I'd probably make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Let's go to Camp Lejeune. Ski, what do you think about that cops using drones in 7-Eleven?
Well, I think it's a good psychological game. A lot of people freak out when hear a drone. Would that be a law enforcement or any other application to that? So I thought it was a great use of it.
And I'm going to give the officer props on his skills. He commanded that thing. It
Yeah,
didn't
maybe
mean bumping his stuff, knocking hot dogs off, whatever.
he should probably enlist and shouldn't enlist. We could use some of them.
Charlie says that the King County Sheriff is not elected. That sounds like a problem for the people in King County. I'd have to get that fixed. An unelected sheriff, I think, is communist. 100%.
Possible out of curiosity. I thought sheriffs were always elected.
Depends on the state constitution. There are some states that don't require it. In Texas, it's a requirement.
It is in Florida too. Thanks.
I think the term they use is a constitutional sheriff because he's elected. There's another state, maybe Indiana, that it's can be or can't be. It's not requirement. So, yeah, I agree with you, Charlie. I think that's a communist state there. But these officers, I think, did a pretty good job on that. So let's go to Big Ron.
Yeah, this is definitely a no bill, and I like I said earlier during the video, I really like the use of the drone during this whole thing for officer safety. I think it's a great idea. It's another tool that they can use to help keep themselves safe, and the psychological effect on the suspect was just phenomenal. It was great. No bill.
You know, in this case, what officers' tools they have when negotiation fails, they've got gas that they could send in there. They could go in with a team and pull this guy out, which is a high likelihood of injury. I think the drone's outstanding on this because otherwise, your reporting person or your complainant, your victim in this, some ferret rounds or gas rounds would have jacked that store up. It wouldn't have been open the next day. So, yeah, I'm impressed with the use of the drone. Bruce, what do you think? This is Washington, man. I mean, like, have you been to this 7-Eleven too?
Yeah, it's a no bill, and it's a good drone pilot. Anyone who's flown drone inside, it's not easy. So impressive all
you're right
around.
about that.
Curly, what do you think?
I think that was good. I mean, I'm not so much a technology guy. I mean, I'm dangerous with electronics, but those guys did good. They chased the guy or looked in there, cleared the building, and the guy came running out. You know, the element of surprise and the unknown like that, the guy was scared shitless from a drone. That was nice. So good job, no bill.
Very good. B's asking, is the young buck speaking? I think it's young pup. It's yes. This is McGruff's grandson out of Lejeune. Pup. She must be a typo. She said buck.
Oh, okay, I see it. Sorry. Yeah, it's his pup, McGruff's pup. Sorry, stumbled.
And Lawyer Joe, what do you think about this?
Actually, I really like this. This guy was obviously he's either mental or he was tripping, and he probably wasn't a danger to anybody but himself. And something like this lets the cops go and check him out. I mean, even though he was hiding in this, but they know that he's nowhere right around there, and they can just wait. Like Jason always says, you have all the time in the world. They can just wait. I mean, and they kind of have him cornered, but without putting anybody at risk. So they could find out if he was hurt, if he was, because he wanted an ambulance. And then they saw, he wasn't armed, he was half undressed, and they were even like very gentle when he came out. Nope, probably figuring out dude is mental or high. I really like this, using this. And that guy's an incredible drone pilot. That stuff is hard. I tried it. No bill on anybody for anything.
Very well. John Cox, North Carolina. What do you think about this?
Oh, that was awesome. I like that. And was I not muted a while ago?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, I thought somebody said they heard somebody talking. Never mind. Carry on.
It was B asking about ski in here from Camp Lejeune. Yeah, you're not the only one in North Carolina tonight, John Cox. Just letting
No, North Carolina wasn't mentioned. I was talking to somebody or I thought I heard somebody say somebody was talking.
Nope. I think you're just hearing things, my friend. Jason.
Possible.
You like this drone?
I'm going to step aside the drone. That first officer that came in and That dude got his shit together there. He got the 2 cashiers out. He moved a car, made it as safe as he could, and just backed off and bought time. And that first officer made the drone be accessible. Excuse me. On top of that, I got to tell you guys, I bought a drone a couple weeks ago, and I flew it up for the first time, and it got stuck in the top of a tree.
Is it still there?
I went up and looked for it. I could not find it. So there's no way in hell I could have drove that drone in that storm. So I'm not a drone flyer, but kudos to that first cop. He made that scene safe, and they backed off, and I was very impressed with that first cop.
Maybe he went back to the mothership, Jason.
Ooh, well played.
No, I think it got caught in the wind and flew off a little bit. I don't know. That first night, though, I laid in bed and watched flashing lights stuck in the top of a tree through my bedroom window.
Man, I've been out there throwing rocks at it. I'd have broke that thing to get it down. But my opinion on this is the same as everyone's. I think it was impressive drone flying, and I do agree with Jason. The first officer's response to this was spot on. Did exactly what he was supposed to do. Contained the guy that didn't want to come out, and got people that didn't need to be involved in it out. Although I think he had one person there in the end. I think we're just seeing it there with they said with the RPs coming out, where there was one person that was in there, maybe a slightly hostage situation for a minute. So kudos to this one. I think it was good. Let's go to Thousand Oaks, California. See how things are done on the West Coast.
Washington is on the West Coast, just in case you weren't sure.
I didn't say that it wasn't. Oh,
This is back to the Ohio one.
This is not the one. Let's get that one removed.
Damn, now I really want Arby's.
We'll go to, I did that on purpose. I'll get the right one up here in a second. Let's go to Arkansas.
Which is not on the West Coast.
It's west of me.
Everything is west of you.
This is a true statement.
We'll get some audio kicking in here in a minute on it. Think he's looking for some PC there, Jason, or do you think he found it?
This is the part that always cracks me up, is hearing what they listen to in their cars.
Yeah, make a note of that. Don't listen to Good Times Radio. Your video recorder goes back 90 seconds.
I mean, at least he's not listening to Bad Boys.
That would at least be funny.
He could be listening to the soundtrack from Mamma Mia.
This is a rookie Arkansas State trooper.
Where is this again?
Arkansas.
F-21 Warren, 1037.
Don't worry about it, B. We all have trouble some nights. Probably the drones.
Shelby Avenue, in Maine and Warren.
Only in Arkansas would you have a Chevy Avenue.
I thought he said
I'm
Shelby.
going 70 miles an hour at the
I
moment.
thought he said Chevy.
I thought Shelby too. This guy has pretty good driving. He's driven in this area before.
Got 1098. 133.
Just past 128. That's the address I just passed on this road. We're on dirt, southeast bound.
Hey, my computer's down. I'm leaving headquarters. Somebody give me a direction towards.
Looks like they wrecked out. Hands! Hands! Let me see your hands! Hands! Stop running! Stop! F-21, Warren, shots fired, suspects down. One took off on foot, black male. He's in a blue t-shirt, blue jeans. 1016 of this location.
10-4, units are 1019. F-121, 10-4.
I'm 10-4.
Got ambulance en route.
10-4.
F-36, he's on Bradley 274, it looks like off the 278 bypass. Okay, 10-4, do I go left or right on the 278 bypass? You're going to go right, like you're going towards the...
Okay, the only back information, it was a traffic stop, evading in a motor vehicle, and then everyone saw what happened at the end of the vehicle pursuit. So let's talk about it. Ski, I'm going to go to you first.
No, Bill. I think it's pretty straightforward.
What happened at the end? Because we can use force an officer can use force to apprehend someone, take them into custody, a lawful arrest. They can't use deadly force to stop someone. What makes it okay if this officer cleared leather and dropped a guy to some DRT in a gravel road?
Well, I don't know. I saw some dirt pop up in front of the squad car. I don't know if that was shots or not, but I mean, if I'm getting shot at, I think that's justified.
And you're right. There were shots fired. If you look where it's paused, the suspect in the lighter shirt, the one that's going to die here in microseconds, he's actually standing in a simulated Osley's position with a pistol aimed at the officer. Let's go here.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
And I don't know whose shot hits early, but yeah. But I do know there were some shots that found its target there. Okay, so no bill for Ski. Fidji, I don't have any other background information to let you know. I don't know how he's raised.
Well, I'm pretty impressed that that officer took. Aren't there people who always say, "Why can't they just shoot him in the leg? Just drop him down"? I think that guy was shot in the leg when he dropped.
He's some DRT. He is dead right there. So I don't think it hit.
Yeah.
He may be hitting the leg.
I'm surprised the cop didn't go after the other guy. Like, okay, that guy's taken care of. Go after the other guy, because I don't know. I'd be worried the other guy would like circle back and try and shoot me or something. But
and
yeah,
I
no
cut
bill.
some of this video off. There was a lot more that was released of responding officers, but there was a eventual manhunt, and that second person was taken into custody. But you can hear some of the radio traffic from the dash cam towards the end of this video. where they're talking about which way should they go to try to get this person contained in
Yeah.
custody. But I'm gonna let the other
Yeah.
officers talk about whether this officer should have pursued that that suspect or not. So no bill for you.
No bill.
Very well. We got a no bill times 2 so far. Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that was going to be my question on, because I wasn't certain who was firing. But if the suspect fired, absolutely no bill, good shoot.
I tell you what, just clear it up.
Hey, my computer's down. I'm leaving
We're
headquarters.
gonna
Somebody give
listen
me
to
a
the
direction
audio on this.
towards.
You need the audio to be able to tell what.
Looks like they wrecked out.
Pay attention to the guy in the light shirt.
Hands! Hands! Let me see hands! Hands! Stop running! Stop! F-21, warn, shots.
I don't
Suspect
know.
fires first on this
one. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Bruce.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't have it trained here, but you can definitely hear that either it's a different caliber or it's farther away. So, yeah, definitely a good shoot. There were two firearms in that exchange.
Without a doubt. Big Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm 100% no bill on this one. You come out of a car and you draw down on a police officer, you're definitely gonna play a stupid game. You're gonna win a stupid prize. So, good job on the police officer. No bill.
Lawyer Joe, do you have an opinion on this one?
I agree with everyone else. That cop's a pretty good driver down the dirt roads. I mean, they're dirt roads. I know it's Arkansas, but so yeah. And the guy gets out and I think he was a passenger, but anyway, got out and immediately started shooting at the cop. The cop took some good shots too, because he didn't take a lot for him to put the guy down. So also kudos on his marksmanship. No bill.
Very good. Curly, what do you think about Arkansas law enforcement? State police style.
I think it was a good shoot. I think the cop shot really good. That was a decent distance with a handgun, so that was good. Well trained. His driving was good. I mean, yeah, no bill. So
Very well. We're fighting. We're at 100% on no bills tonight. Interesting. John Cox, North Carolina. I know you guys don't have any dirt roads up there, but what do you think about this incident?
We do have dirt roads. No bill. He's clear on that.
Jason?
It'll be my supervisory shit, but I'm not sure. Reason for the stop was a misdemeanor. I guess I questioned the pursuit, but the way it all played out, cops did a good job.
Brother, I'm going to tell you down south, we'll chase you till the wheels come off. All you got to do is run. But I see your assessment. Yeah, I think it's a no bill. I think the trooper did a pretty good job. Kept his cool. Does any officer want to address Fidgey's point is why this officer didn't continue the pursuit of the suspect that fled on foot?
Yes, absolutely not. You got one suspect down. That's your job right now. Let the other one take off, set up a perimeter, and start the manhunt. What he just did there, find cover, keep your gun on that target that's down. You don't know if he's deceased or not, but you just can't run away from him. So he's by himself, one-on-one. You cannot run in the bushes at that point.
I don't know if the other one was armed. It would seem like you're in more of a dangerous spot. Like he could come back through those trees right there and get you.
You're a lot of assumptions there. You're not going to run into it. No, it's a perimeter at that point. Contain the scene, and then go after the guy who just fled. Later with more people.
Okay. Let's go to St. Louis, Missouri. Actually, I think this could be Illinois, part of St. Louis, but St. Louis nonetheless.
Hey.
Crush Robert 92 traffic, Calvert.
What's going on, boss? I'm Sergeant Wallace with Breckenridge. So the only reason I'm stopping you is you have an improperly displayed front plate. You got some dark tint on the car. That's the only reason.
I don't have no 5% all the way around.
One more time.
Both of my places sitting the right place. Yes. Yeah. I apologize.
It's upside down. You can't see it from outside.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Me and my senator and my his friend, if you get my drift. We had a misunderstanding on all my stuff in my car.
That's no problem. There's nothing illegal about having all that stuff.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I had used something around. 180 Gordon insurance just expired last month.
Okay. Do you have the original card?
I can pull up on my cell phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Is there any reason why you're not wearing a seatbelt?
My car is zero out and that's like zero.
State's gonna be en route.
And stuff right now.
I'm not engaged in commerce. I'm
No,
traveling.
I just really do that because I set stuff, the alarm.
Gotcha.
I'm so sorry.
No, I've already explained to you the reason for the stop. That was it. You weren't speeding.
No, I don't have a super dark cancy, but like the my does.
You're mumbling, bud. What's up?
My ears just wordy sword. That's so.
Shut it down or something. No.
Window down. I apologize. I don't have full design. I didn't know about it.
You're good.
I'm so sorry. Then thank you for being so understanding.
Okay, well, you're pulling that up on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being sober as a bird, 10 being drunkest you've ever been. Where are you at in there? One more time.
I'm more than capable of driving. Just honestly, I have no worry about it, so I don't want my car to be told, so I'm kind of nervous.
Do you have a trooper available for
Okay.
auto accident?
Okay, so where are you at on that scale? On a 1 being sober as a bird, like ready to go to church, and 10 being drunkest you've ever been?
I promise you, officer, but I'm just mentally scared because I was just on my way. That's how my weather talk.
Well, he's up there in 7th grade for sure.
I got you. So that's not really an answer. It's just a number 1 to 10.
No, I literally said 1. I apologize.
You're a 1? You feel like you're a 1 right now? Okay. Are you willing to take some tests to make sure that you're going to drive?
To be honest with you, I don't personally feel like that's necessary.
Okay.
With you, but if I don't want to honestly because I'm really scared.
I get it. There's nothing to be scared of right now. I don't believe that I've given you a reason to be scared or anything like that, or been rude to you or anything like that.
No.
I'm just trying to make sure you're good to the
Going to
operating
GEL is enough to be scared
So
of.
you're doing a lot of mumbling. I smell alcohol.
No, honestly,
or excuse me, the odor of an alcoholic beverage.
I promise you, sir, I'm so sorry. Like honestly, I'm not gonna sit there and watch you or anything like that. I had 2 shots today. I only have the second in my pocket right now.
2 shots all day long? You've only had 2 shots all day long?
I literally have all in my blood.
Gotcha. Okay. How long ago was your last shot?
About, I don't want to call my budget.
I got you.
Maybe about
Gotcha.
I need to put me right in the situation.
Okay. So you are not willing to take any of those tests to alleviate my concerns that you might be driving while intoxicated?
I don't want to sit there, so it's not because I don't want to sit there and make it sound like that's not saying like I'm so scared, so good. I see it.
Well, you don't have to apologize to me. I'm just trying to make sure you're good to drive. That's part of my job as a police officer.
So it's just like honestly, I just take my word.
So I'm not just going to take your word on it. That's not really how it works. You can agree to take the test, which is what you agree to do, whenever you sign your driver's license and you first get your driver's license. That's part of implied consent. Or you can refuse to take the test, and then I can arrest you for your refusal.
No, I don't.
Well, I don't think anybody really wants to get arrested.
And I just pull them out insurance, pull them.
Well, sure, yeah, that's what we've been waiting on. I said, well, you were trying to pull up your insurance because you answered this question, and then you failed to answer the question.
No, I didn't. I literally answered it. I promise you to give me. I'm so sorry. Like I don't have a loud voice. Like promise you, like, instantly, like I said, I feel like I'm the one that I see the missing concussions. I'm so sorry. I'm so worried. I promise you, like, this week.
Okay. So just to be clear, you are not willing to take any of the tests.
I died. I was with the understanding because I just like to mess with anything. I'm not saying no. I just honestly, that's all.
The lawyer in me is like, it's a yes or no question.
Okay. Jason, the police in you, what is this officer doing? He knows he's on camera. What do his questions and listening to this guy's answers, do they have any meaning, do you think?
Yeah, he's setting up a case.
In case the guy doesn't what?
Refuses to take tests, he's under arrest. He's setting the table, so to speak, that if you're refusing, it's a refusal. He's going to arrest him on camera for court.
Right, because he's developed probable cause to do so.
Yeah, probable cause is already there. He's making his case right now, and the guy's just biting into it.
I'm just curious if you picked up on that as well.
Standard field sobriety test, and then there's a portable breath test. It's like a PBT. It's what you see on TV sometimes. You see people blow into them, and it's just designed to detect alcohol on the breath. Then there's standard field sobriety test. There's the walk and turn, the one-legged stand. There's HGN, horizontal gaze nystagmus, which is a test of your eyes, in case you've ever seen that on TV.
But I'm really talking to the officer like I'm trying to be my choice just spark. Love you, love you, sleep.
Are you still trying to pull up that insurance? I'm just asking. You're fine. Okay. Any firearms in the car, anything like that? Okay. All right. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back with you while you're pulling that up. Robert 92.
Forever 92.
Spike strip work.
92, that vehicle took off on the driver's heavily intoxicated, northbound on Coward, passing north. The vehicle has been spiked.
So my screen flipped for a second. I missed what happened.
What were you again then?
That vehicle took off on the main spike, did northbound Calvert, passing north.
1050, Calvert and Catherine.
1050 at Calvert and Catherine.
And around. 2 over 92. Vehicle is still moving eastbound on Catherine, northbound on Woodson. We got multiple flats.
Eastbound Catherine, Woodson.
2 over 92 charges are aggravated fleeing and DWI. Lincoln 909 George on a white and color Lexus.
That's clear and confirming you are in pursuit of the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am. Charges are ag fleeing and DWI.
The aggravated fleeing and DWI Lincoln 909 George on a white Lexus and 2 over 92 is in pursuit. Clearing Robert 92 updated locations.
Northbound on Woodson approaching Natural Bridge. Speeds at the moment are 75. Light traffic. Signaling to turn eastbound on Natural Bridge.
Northbound Woodson signaling to eastbound Natural Bridge.
Eastbound on Natural Bridge. Speeds at 45. No traffic at this time.
Speeds at 45 and no traffic eastbound Natural Bridge.
William 12 off Whitlow.
Well, William 12 clear.
Two up 92. Still eastbound on Natural Bridge. Continuing eastbound Natural Bridge. Run the spur.
Clear. Continuing eastbound past the spur.
And eastbound Natural Bridge passing Fairfield. Speeds are 5, right traffic.
Passing Fairview and speeds are 45, light traffic.
Eastbound Natural Bridge passing Brown. No traffic at this time. Speeds are 60.
No traffic, speed 60, passing Brown.
That guy's driving away fast.
I'm
Like tires.
have 11 and continue to assist. William 12 terminating, William 11 still in it.
Eastbound on Natural Bridge. And correction, there's a cross street. Eastbound Natural Bridge passing Harold. Vehicle's tires just went completely flat and came off. Speeds are 80.
Clear speeds 80, tires are flat or off.
Southbound on 170 from Natural Bridge. You could advise those cars from earlier. I'm not sure if they're going to be in the area.
Southbound 170 from Natural Bridge to Charles 2, are units on 170, you clear?
Dispatch advice, they're also southbound on 170. You good, I got you, right here. Come on. I'm one mag, down to one mag. Hey, switch with me your rifle, I got spares. Here. Don't know.
Shots fired. Anybody injured? Charles 14, I'm rolling on full. Charles 13 on both lands. They on route to southbound 170. Land to southbound 170, our units cleared.
51 is almost there. What ramp from southbound?
From Natural Bridge.
CTA1. Direction, description, please.
2 Charles 13.
Good.
Somebody has a call.
Yeah, there definitely was a call holding on that. So we stopped for excessively tinted windows during the traffic stop. The officers believed that he had clues of intoxication. We all saw that. He refused sobriety test. And upon raking out the driver, the suspect fired back at law enforcement. So let's go to Ski. What do you think about this one?
I think the officer handled the traffic stop very well, and it's actually really smart of him to play those spike strips right away. And I don't really know the standard operating procedures for law enforcement, but I think, to me, I thought everything was handled correctly, and I thought their tactics, from what I know, was pretty good. They handled that situation pretty well, so I'm going to say no bill.
Got a no bill from Ski. Let's go to Big Ron.
Yeah, as soon as you open fire on an officer, that's pretty much going to be no bill for me.
Okay, that's 2 no bills. Pidgey.
Yeah, that's a no bill. I hope he's learned the error of his ways.
I don't think he has the opportunity to do it again.
No, he lived. They got life-saving techniques to him.
He wasn't a DRT?
No.
I have to go
No,
back
it
and look.
sounded like he lived.
I think he expired later, but I may be wrong. But either way, definitely, I get your point.
Yep.
Lawyer Joe, what do you think about this one?
I'm actually okay with it. I agree with everyone else. I mean, that cop was really patient. That dude was sloshed, and the cop was really patient. And he would, I really like how he was like, "Look, if you don't take the tests, I can arrest you and take you to prison. If you're not really drunk and you want to, and you take the tests, then and you're good to go. No big deal." And the guy knew he was
Let me
screwed
ask
from that
you,
point.
how do you know he was sloshed?
You can hear it, like
And you,
just
so you, well, hang on. So you hear him talking here. Do you have a reference of him talking when he's not drunk to see maybe this is the way he talks all the time?
no. But the officer also said he smelled alcohol or smelled the
Well, that's the police. You in particular know that the police are all corrupt and lying. He can just say anything he
well,
wants
like
to say.
90%, not 100, but and just you could just tell by the way the guy look at his eyes, watch his eyes while he's talking.
But how
They
does he look
like
when he's not drunk?
I don't know, but he is displaying all of the characteristics of someone who's intoxicated.
Which are what? The characteristics you speak of.
His speech is slurred. It goes slow and then he speeds up a little and he goes slow and he speeds up a little. And then he like won't make direct eye contact. I get that with some cops, like,
So
but
let me ask you
they
this: if you're sitting on a jury on a DWI, and that's all you have is this video, what didn't turn into pursuit? He just arrests him because the guy says, "I'm not going to take Bill's sobriety test." You arrest him. He denies or refuses to give a breath sample or a blood sample, and you're a jury sitting on there. So you would convict him for driving while intoxicated with the evidence that you've got there because of the characteristics.
well it depends. Don't they have to at some point, don't you have to subject to or you're basically admitting you're guilty?
No, you don't have to subject, and the penalty for that is loss of your driving privileges. The officer explained it right when you get your driver's license. When you sign for it, you're giving implied consent to undergo field sobriety test if asked, and provide blood or breath samples if asked by law enforcement in suspicion of a DUI.
I mean, if this is the only evidence I have and I don't have an outside reference, no, I can't convict because it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's right. It's
But
up there, but
but it's enough to get
it's
in.
enough for that officer to be concerned, and he was rightly so. But I thought that guy was like, I mean, I've been around enough drunks to tell the guy's probably drunk. So, but the officer did the right thing, I think.
Okay, I wasn't questioning. I had some questions about what you said. Good job. Is that where you land?
Yeah, I'm sorry, dog needs to go outside.
Very well, get that dog outside. Curly, how would you do this in Arizona?
Well, I'd have done it a little bit differently. I think if once I'd have smelled the alcohol, I would have had him turn off the car. If it was running, give me the keys, hop out. That may have alleviated the long pursuit, all that stuff, because he did a good job trying to explain to the guy. But there comes a point where you stop trying to explain it and take control of the conversation. Get the keys, get him out of the car. If you truly have those concerns about a DUI, out of the car, get off the road, have a conversation, continue the conversation, watch for mannerisms, other things, because just the speech alone isn't going to be enough, like you were kind of insinuating, but there's more to it. I think the cop did a good job trying to explain it, but I think he just let it drag on, and he should have got the guy out of the car, hop out real quick. Walk back here with me and let me talk to you. And that may have changed the outcome. I don't know. It's kind of hard to second guess things, but that's how I would have had handled it. But in this case, still no bill. He fired and cops did what they had to do.
Very good. John Cox, North Carolina. What do you think about this one?
Absolutely no bill. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at all the rounds they sent. I couldn't tell if he kept shooting at them or what the deal was going on, but I'm good with it.
Jason?
I'm going to agree with Curly on this one. I don't think I would have let when he walked back to the. I agree with Curly. There was enough reasonable suspicion to bring him out of the car. I don't think I would have left him there. This guy knew he was fucked. I would have got him out of the car, got his keys, done my business. Everything else could have been avoided. I kudos to the officers for being patient. I don't think I would have handled it that way, but yeah, the whole thing could have been avoided. But the way it ended up, I'm not billing it.
I agree, no bill on this one. I think in the sense that I get from the officer, the questions and keeping this guy engaged and letting him talk, he's not correcting him. He's just letting him talk. I think he's building him a DWI or DUI case, depending on what state you're in. I think he's building that if he doesn't get field sobriety, if he doesn't get a breath sample, and I think pulling him out was the next step. So I don't really have any real criticism for it. I think the officer was doing a pretty decent job on this one. So I've got no bill on that. We're going to go to our last one, and we'll try to get to it pretty quick. This is deputies pursue a suspect with a machete.
And I just want to say on that last video, when I was saying that guy's a 7 or an 8, I was talking about the drunk scale. Wasn't
right inside Ralph.
Hang on. I want to pause. Oh, you were talking about the drunk scale? I thought you were like giving him a rating like that dude's a solid 7 a day.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid people would take away from it. So I wanted to clarify well on the record.
I'll take that.
No, I think you're backing off that statement because you realize we all realize.
Don't worry,
what
folks.
you're actually
I'll edit out his last statement there and leave the aforementioned statement in.
Did he just rate a guy's looks?
He did.
Yes, he did.
And if you don't believe me, watch the edited version of this show. All right, let's try to get this one in time.
He's inside Ralph's? Yeah. Passerby just advised he's inside Ralph's.
Ralph. Right inside Ralph.
Where's he at?
Down
Is that him right there?
The guy down there.
With the long?
Yeah.
Hey, it's that guy with the long jacket in the gray. He's running around the corner. We're on the. He's reaching for something. We're on the north side of the complex. He's got a machete in his hand. One at gunpoint. Hey, drop the weapon or you're gonna get shot. Do it now. We're outside the Panaderia. On the north side, we're walking northbound, uncooperative, sells a machete. Get out of the way! Get down on the ground, you're gonna get shot! Keep units coming, code 3. Get down on the ground! You're under arrest! Hit him with taser, hit him with taser. Taser. Get on the ground! Taser's been deployed, ineffective. He's now running eastbound. He's going into the survivor. Get on the ground, get shot! Shots fired, shots fired. Get down on the ground. You're under arrest. Hit with taser, hit with taser. Taser. Get on the ground! Taser's been deployed.
You shot me. No shit.
Did he throw that machete at the cop?
At what point did you think you saw that?
While he was laying on the ground, it almost looks like he threw it back at him as he was screaming, "You shot me!" Completely pointing out the obvious.
Let's go to that. I didn't catch that part. He may have been like, okay, yeah, you can have it now, since you're going to shoot me over it. All right, let's go to Bruce Wayne. What do you think about this one? I don't have the background information printed on this one, but it was reason law enforcement officers were called there. It was a call for service for a disturbance with a man with a machete. He was accosting people in the parking lot. That's what got law enforcement officers there to make contact with him.
I don't know if I can make a call without knowing his upbringing, schooling, and all. No, I'm kidding. If he had a weapon,
Actually, Bruce, I'm wondering what you're rating that cop that's right in front of the camera. Do you give him like an 8, or do you rate him more as like a
You want me
9?
to freeze it right there? Is that a good view if we get assessment?
I'm gonna need better resolution.
I
than
mean,
that.
his butt's not great. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not. But you gotta remember, those uniform pants don't make anyone's ass look great.
Okay, and we are spinning sideways and off the road. Let's try to get this thing back on track.
No, he ran into. I think the cops made the right call, knowing that he had a machete. Him running into a public place like that. Yeah, they were protecting the public. It's a no bill.
Got a no bill from Bruce Wayne. Let's go to Fidji.
Yeah, that's a no bill. That was suicide by cop, pretty much, wasn't it? I mean, the guy was kind of. Well, I'm surprised he didn't.
He didn't expire. He was not a DRT, and he didn't DRT at another location from this incident. He was booked into jail after some treatment.
Yeah, I didn't say he was successful. It just seemed like he was kind of do it. And that way he was telling the cop, like, go ahead and shoot me.
You know, I don't recall him saying that. He was and when the taser was hitting him.
Right around
No, it was
here.
before that. It was like a.
Get down on the ground. You're under arrest.
Back from
Hit him
this.
with taser. Hit him with taser.
15 seconds.
Taser. Away. Get down on the ground. You're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do it.
Keep units coming. Code 3.
You the lab coat.
Get down on the ground.
Looks like it.
You're under arrest. Hit him with
That's got a hood on it.
Taser. Get on the ground. Taser's been deployed. Ineffective. He's now running eastbound.
I wouldn't say it was ineffective.
He's going into the
fully
highway.
effective. But that's
You're going to get shot.
The effectiveness is he goes to the ground and he doesn't get back up.
Shots fired. Get down on the ground. You're under arrest. Hit him with taser.
Okay, let's go to Big Ron.
Yeah, I'm going to call that one a no bill. That definitely falls into what we normally talk about here on the show time after time with that 21-foot rule. He's got a machete, goes into an enclosed area with a lot of civilians in there. He could have at any point turned around and gone after the officer or any of the civilians. So I'm going to say that was a good shoot.
Okay, I'll go with good shoot on that. Ski, what do you think?
I was actually just gonna ask, because I'm not familiar with that stuff. When a suspect runs in there with a knife, isn't that technically endangering the public, and therefore you can use lethal force? I'm not really familiar with that.
The knife can be a deadly weapon, but so could a table chair. So it really depends on time, manner, and place, what he's doing with it, if one is acting threatening. But the fact that he's running in after contact, that he evades and then goes into that store, it leaves an officer to a point that you're going to have to use something to stop him, because if he goes in there and injures a citizen that's not doing a damn thing but living their life and has a right not to be killed or injured, then I think you're negligent and derelict in your duty as a police officer to protect innocent citizens. So long form answer is yes, by him having the machete, acting, and it's not just having the machete. If he walked into there with the machete to order a drink, that wouldn't be cause for his use of deadly force. But his behavior behind that, all the way up to the officers get there because it's a disturbance, he's threatening people with a machete. And then he doesn't comply with officers' directions. He continues to move on, and then evades, runs into an occupied, open convenience store or business location. I think officers use deadly force at the appropriate time, if that answers your question.
Yes, it does, and I would say no, Bill. I think that's pretty reasonable then.
Very well. I like the way Ski does a grand jury. you know, he's got a question, he gets it out there, then that's the question he needed answered so he can make his decision. That's almost like a real jurist works. It's great, actually. But let's go to Lawyer Joe. What do you
Yeah,
think?
no, Bill. They gave the guy every chance to comply. He had a machete threatening people. And once they got him with the taser, I'm sorry, but the way he acted when he got hit with the taser, yeah, that shit hurts, dude. That's why you're supposed to stop. But so getting shot in, you've got a machete running through what it looks like maybe a little convenience store or something. Nah, the cop, no, Bill.
I'm a little surprised. I thought you would go a different way with this, but I'm not begging for more. Curly, what do you think?
Well, somebody said suicide by cop, and I thought I heard him say when they were telling him to stop, he was going, just do it, do it. And continued on. He had the machete. They were called there for a guy threatening people with the machete. When he goes into a business that has people in it, you have to end the situation right there. And the cops did good. No bill.
Okay, no bill. Charlie's asking if this guy was a butcher. You know what? He could be a butcher or maybe working in a coal plant, but that white coat he's got on's got a hood. So I don't know if it is a windbreaker or maybe a raincoat. But folks that have worked in like cold storage places, they will have lab coatish type of wear with a hood that goes up. So because they're working in cold storage, so I don't think he's a butcher, but I'm not really sure what this garb is he's wearing.
But there's also the option that he could be a baker or candlestick maker.
He could be a baker or a candlestick maker. B, I don't know if there was a back door in there. I'm not sure if this individual knew it was a back door, if he just went to another place where cops weren't. Let's go to John Cox, North Carolina. I know you've got an opinion on this.
No bill. He's good.
Oh, Charlie says Safeway butchers wear a jacket like that. You know, I've never noticed if they've got a hood or not, but could be. Charlie, I don't know. I don't have any background information as this guy's vocation or profession. Jason.
You guys know what I feel about tasers. You saw it again. I will also say the question from Ski about this guy running that place. It's the priorities of life that law enforcement takes an oath to. The first priority of life is the hostages. The second is the innocent. The third is the police, and the fourth is the suspect. So the fact that he ran into a occupied building with innocent people, that makes it justified to take him out because he's got a weapon on his hand, and there's innocent people in there, and they're scared that this guy might do something to innocent people. And then lastly, did you say BRT or BRG? Is because BRG, is that Bruce rates guys?
That's a new one. BRG is or BRB is Bruce rates boys.
Either way, I thought you said BRG. I didn't know if that was an acronym for Bruce.
Oh, I think the acronym that has been thrown around earlier, prior to Bruce rating people in the video, is DRT, which is dead right there.
Okay, I misheard you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you got 2 out of 3 letters wrong. Good one, Jason.
Yeah, but you didn't get your number wrong. You were
You
pretty
just rated
solid.
a guy.
Yeah,
you rated a guy.
You did.
I rated alcoholic drunkenness.
No, you rated a man.
Not after this is edited, my friend. I promise you didn't. You rated the guy.
Blame the officer who asked the guy to rate himself.
Adrian says the officer has no idea what the suspect's intentions are as he runs into the store. Ending the possible threat is the right call versus multiple innocent victims. So Adrian agrees with Jason's assessment as well, and it's my assessment. I agree with that assessment as well. I think the officer's engagement on this was pretty solid all the way through. And yeah, quite frankly, they probably could have used more force prior to getting into that store. But once he got in there, just thankfully, the people inside the store got out of the way so he didn't have any big backdrop issues. And I'm mainly thankful for that because we didn't go 20 minutes discussing backdrops and how the officer should have taken consideration of the backdrops in this video. But folks, that is our show for tonight. We'll have an after party. Give us about 20 minutes. We'll kick one up on X. For those of you following us on X, if you want a personal invite to it, shoot me a DM or join our night court community group, because I'll always post it in there. That way you can keep up with what we've got going on, because we'll move around pretty fast on you sometimes. Another thing I want to say is that I want you guys to keep looking out. Come January, we're going to take this show to a wider audience. We're going to start packaging these things up. I'm working on it now. Our night court shows where we have our discussions. I'm going to start broadcasting that on podcast, and we've got a couple of different podcasts that we're working on. One Curly alluded to earlier is a podcast with just police officers telling, quite frankly, cop stories. Now, these, I don't suspect you'll see the stories where, the things you think we cops talk about. I think you'll be surprised to listen to a bunch of cops get in the room and hear the stories we actually tell each other. I think you'll be quite surprised about that. But I'm really excited about what we've got going on, working very, very hard right now to get it all put together and figure out technology that I'm not, quite frankly, I'm not astute to do just yet, but I'm Googling and I'm learning and I'm asking a lot of questions. Hint, hint, Charlie. I'm asking a lot of questions. But we're going to get this stuff sorted out and hopefully we're going to try to step our game up on content come January 1st. So thanks, guys. Give us a few minutes, as in about 20, 25 minutes, stretch our legs, get a fresh drink, use the bathroom, and maybe a snack, and we'll jump into an X space, and we'll continue to beat down on Bruce for trying to rate guys in the middle of this live show tonight.
I'll rate you all.
Hello. No. Hello. No. And did you ever get any money from Maya Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shennies?
No. I don't even speak to it. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk. No.
Night Court with Joe Lanou, live on X.
Also known as Duck Corella.
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent to
You
criminate.
got any business?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of intent to criminate.
You have any profession?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent
You have
to
any
criminate.
occupation?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent
Are
to
you a
criminate.
known racketeer?
I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent